All right, we are live, and the New York Mets are doing that thing where they are fun again. If this episode was recorded different days during the last week, there'd be different, reactions to it all. But we're feeling good right now. And tell me if you guys have heard this one before. But the New York Mets are about to go on a road trip that can decide their entire season. So we're going to be freaking out a little bit, getting a little upset, getting a little hot and bothered. But luckily, we have ourselves our Coors Lights, the beer that is made to chill, and the beer that is always there for the Mets fans. This episode, as always, is presented by Coors Light. You don't have to be selling out stadiums to feel like you're chilling backstage. You just need Coors Light. Coors Light wants to make your summer more chill with limited edition backstage six-packs curated by some of your favorite artists. That's a beautiful thing right there, because music plus Coors Light equals chill. Amplified Coors Light is the only choice when you're ready.
Phil is feeling it. Phil is feeling it. Right
yeah, Phil. I love when Phil gets like this. It's the best thing. The question was, would you crack open a Coors Light and listen to your favorite hype playlist before you go on stage to make a public appearance? Yeah, I do that every single time we have Barstool at the ballpark, which was another smashing success on Saturday. So the answer is yes to quite yes. And my summer playlist song of the day is Going Back to Cali, because we're going to the West Coast and we're bringing the New York Thunder with us. And there's going to be weird stuff with the Padres, because there always is. But we have our Coors Lights in our back pockets with the Blue Mountains, ready to smash those fathers out in San Diego. So amplify your chill this summer with Coors Light. Choose chill. Choose Coors Light. Visit CoorsLight.com/believe to see how Coors Light can amplify your summer, and be sure to keep an eye out on Coors Light social handles and Coors Light's backstage sixpack.com all summer long for the drops. Celebrate responsibly. Coors Brewing Company, Golden, Colorado. Boys, we're back.
I mean, this season is going to kill me, bro. This has been, in the beginning of the year, we thought it was going to be the worst season ever. I think we can now say that this is the biggest roller coaster season ever.
It's
2015 was kind of like roller coaster, but by the break, we just went, like the second half was all good. There's been like 2 or 3 times since the Grimace like revolution that I was like, all right, now it's over again. And it's back again. I mean, it's crazy.
It's the most memeable season of my life, if that makes sense. And looking back, it started with Seymour Wiener on opening day. They told us this is what was going to happen, and we just had no clue. But I went to the game yesterday, the 1 o'clock game on Wednesday against the Orioles. And they're showing the crowd, or they're doing the in-between inning stuff. And there's 1,000 different Grimace things. There's dudes just dressed like painted in purple paint. They're not wearing shirts. They're just dressed in that. The
OMG 1 o'clock on a Wednesday, no less.
I know.
Yeah.
Don't you have jobs? What are you doing?
OMG plays all the time. They have the sign everywhere. And Mr. and Mrs. Met, they dress in all the stuff that has to do with whatever is the current thing, that's going on.
They're doing good. Listen, they have figured that out. Even the social media has been good. They've figured out a way to do, and this is only going to continue once we build Cohen's metropolis over there. It's going to be a spectacle, but they've pretty much figured out the entertainment side of the game. Yes. And for a long time they tried to do that and failed. I'd rather you be good at it or not do it, because the teams that try and have bad social media and they have bad promotions, and even the people getting upset about the Hawk girl, get those fucking old hacks. Get the everyone at WFAN now is just for shock value, screaming and yelling. It's all old men shit. I understand a guy like Mike Francesa is never gonna like that. That's fine. The rest of those guys, shut the fuck up. That girl is the nicest chick who has ever gone viral. She got caught drunk on a man on the street by some sleazeball talking to her about having sex, and since then she's been nothing but a delight who's trying to help dogs and be nice in this world. Shut the fuck up. They've got it all. They figured it out as far as young people who don't freak out about this shit are concerned. If you're an old person, what am I going to tell my kid? Why is your kid asking you who the random girl throwing out the first pitch is? What are you talking about?
Somebody from WFAN got by a Twitter account being like, I'm at the game right now and I have to explain to my 7-year-old what fellatio is. And then he retweeted it. I'm like, you're a fucking idiot if you fall for that.
The account's name was Ben Dover.
Right.
Come on.
You're the joke. You're the butt of the joke, you losers. So But so yeah, the entertainment side of things is, and then when you got guys, you know, they know how to do a walk-off homer now. Like the fucking music's blasting, the cameras are cutting, everybody, you know what I mean? Like all of it is fun to watch.
Whoever, like, it's I don't know if like the Mets org chart is like someone's in charge of everything, and then from there it splits. But the social media,
Cohen. It's Steve Cohen.
Probably the social media handles on point. The in-game entertainment stuff again on point. They're leaning into the memes. What have we said on this podcast for years? It's like the Mets are terrible, or they break our hearts. The managers, the players, all this kind of stuff. The old owners. But it's the fans that always just like make Bartolo Colon become a thing and, you know, get all these like crazy moments and are able to like laugh and, you know, still make fun of it and are super creative. I think tons of people that do social across, you know, sports books, even there's all these hilarious social people that are Mets fans. Cause again, you have to be a special kind of breed of person to like live with the Mets. And now we're just hiring those people and letting them do stuff. When they put up, I want you to put the word out that we're back up. The Stringer Bell meme.
I thought that was
Mets
fake.
After the game, after you beat the Baltimore Orioles in a series on a walk-off home run, I said, holy shit, we finally arrived. And I know
I thought you did that.
You thought I did that?
I thought that was a Clem special. I didn't know that was real. That's fucking awesome. They do they play OMG and then they have that Italian kid who says boom.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like that is, it's so stupid. It's so
the final score and they capitalize the L in Baltimore too.
Love it.
Final score, like, Baltimore. Catch the cell.
And like, you know, at the moment, I think when Haley Welch was throwing out the pitch, like I think we had lost a couple games and people were like, same old Mets, you gotta fix the product on the field. And like a week later, we're having like the best week of our lives and enjoying the fucking shit out of it. So like I used to be that way because it was just butt of joke after butt of joke after butt of joke. And now it's like, no, it's almost like I trust them now. It's like, all right, go ahead. Maybe you have a miss here and there, but overall you've hired people who are pretty funny. And none of it really matters as long as you just keep hitting walk-off dingers against, you know, league class teams in the AL. That was that week. Holy shit, man.
Yeah, it's like you're going to cry about almost sweeping the Marlins or, you know, whatever happened in that goddamn A series. And it's like, all right. And then we face Baltimore, just like, oh boy, like just don't get swept. Just don't get swept.
I thought that Marlins game was going to fuck us because that Marlins game was so ugly. And even though we still took 2 out of 3, it was like, it ended on a sour note. We could have swept and we didn't. Now we're going to go play a real team and like this could get ugly and total opposite happened. Total fucking opposite happened.
I think there's a chance that like David Stern's secret sauce or whatever it may be, it's like he sees the numbers, the Moneyball stuff, the numbers that no one else knows, whatever on-base percentage was in the 2000s. And it might just be like his meme rating, his meme ability. Because again, the meme stuff we have, and now he brings in Jesse Winker, who was our goddamn bugaboo. And all he does, goes out, first home run, biggest moment of the season, beautiful day in Queens, going crazy. Like I said, throws off the helmet, celebrates. You know how I know that was a good celebration? The losers on Twitter are like, this is unbelievable. I can't believe someone would celebrate like this. It's like, I thought it was pretty fucking awesome. The hair's flowing around the base.
Well, let me ask a favor of you guys. If there's ever a day where I say something like that Braves fan said to me, do me a favor and kill me. Take a gun and shoot me in the fucking head. Put me out to pasture. If you are ever complaining about a home run walk-off celebration, it's your time to get off the internet. And it might happen. And maybe it happens to everybody. Maybe you all get old and eventually, when we're like 30 years from now, people will be like whipping their dicks out. And I'll be like, I can't believe that guy took his dick out and was like humping the air. And
they literally hot two at each other.
and then you put me out to pasture because it's just a sign that you're an old man. And that's what people are doing now. I feel bad for Alvarez. His walk-off lasted for like 24 hours because prior to Winker, that was like, dude, that ball, Alvarez fucking crushed that ball, dude. Like off the bat, I thought it was going to be like out of the goddamn stadium. The way he was just like, rah, rah, rah. I mean, that to me, I was like, that's one of the best walk-offs. I'm going to remember that for the rest of my life. And, 48 hours later, Winker tops it with the celebration and then the post game and the hair, the fucking Winker's hair. Oh my God. Mwah. What a couple days.
That's the second pinch hit walk-off home run with the Mets team involved that we've witnessed him do this season. Because he had the Yankee Doodle Dandy hat for the Nats, walked off the Mets.
That's right.
in the pinch hit
Right.
situation
That's
tonight.
right.
And then they said, I think that he's only had 2 in his career. So they're both this season, and they're both on pinch hit walk-offs.
I mean, yeah, pinch hit home runs are fucking insane, and pinch hit walk-offs is like that is. But that's one of the. I'm trying to think of like another thing in sports. Like, there's nothing comparable to like, hey, Winker, like down off the bench, like you're in, and boom, we're going home. That is, I mean, the cockiest shit ever, man. And that dude. I mean, they put up our tweets, which I was happy to see. They put up our tweets on like the Roku broadcast or whatever. And I heard that they were up on the Jumbotron at the game. Nobody's ever been more right about Jesse Winker than we were. There are certain things. We don't know everything about the Mets. You know, I predicted they would be good. I predicted they'd be bad. You get a lot wrong. But there are certain things that once you've watched this team long enough, you just know it's happening. Most of the time, it's a bullpen blowing it, a blown save, something of that like. I was never more sure of anything that Jesse Winker was going to be on this team eventually because of obvious reasons that like he's just like an outfield bat that you just like. I feel like the Mets signed like all of those at some point. All of those bats come through Queens, but it was just inevitable after we had our thing with him, and then he became cool with us, and I was just like, this guy is going to come here, and when he does, it will be awesome because he knows how to play the game and he knows how to do the off the field stuff. And as long as he's good on the field, like it'll be electric. And that is happening, obviously. So, like, that's the type of dude. He's not like a Cespedes signing where it's like, he's going to hit 20 home runs. But he's the type of dude who gets the fucking locker room going. They said it the other day when he got that base hit, the first hit of the game, and he was like, fuck yeah, let's fucking go. And everyone was like, whoa, okay, let's go, dude. So, Winker might be the little secret sauce. Who knows?
Yeah, he got the double Gatorade bath, and he was like, bring it to me. Let me hit me. Mm-hmm. They hit him with the double Gatorade. And then he had the post-game interview with Gelbs where he was like, I love this shit, talking about the fans, getting everyone fired up. Which, again, we were Winker fans even when he was still fucking us, and we look bad. Me, Kyle, and Phil went to take a picture with him. He was hitting you up. He's like, hey, send the guys down. So we took a picture, said like, hey, I love this dude. He ended up potentially fucking us bad because then he ended up hitting the home run to take the lead. And then Patty Mazika, which remember, that was our memes back in those points. I forgot that guy was alive.
Patty Mazika
era.
Do you remember the side-by-side of Diaz and Winker? Oh, my God. That was that game – random series against the Mariners was like one of the greatest series of our lifetimes. That was amazing.
It was nuts. And then he just fires it up, gets the crowd all excited. And, he clearly, like, the crowd's motivate him and he loves it. You curse on a live stream, I'm always going to love you. So it was incredible for me. Now, we've basically been bottling him up. And we also, this is almost our soundtrack to see if Darth Meek is coming out or if we're going to have, like, a real microphone. But I got to let Phil, let it out because I see you can tell where Phil's head at is because he's starting to tweet more. He's starting to get a little more confident. When something bad happens, he goes right back to his dark place. So Phil, give me the Phil heat check right now.
This past week we've seen 2 walk-offs, a complete game shutout, which felt like a no-hitter.
Yeah.
Yep.
Lindor saying like over 300 over the last 80 games, whatever it is. Like this past week has been a roller coaster. I'm at a loss of words for like what this series was because I will say one thing. Fuck RDT for that tweet Tuesday night saying meet the Mets. I was like, I thought we were cool.
Yeah.
We took the series from those guys.
The one loss was like an ugly one, but when we look back, who knows? The series against the Orioles might be like a little launching pad.
Going into that homestand, I was like, I feel more confident about taking a series versus the Orioles than the A's. And I was right about that.
Some things about the Mets will always hold true, and that's one of them. Like
we're going to talk about the upcoming schedule, but like the White Sox are now circled on the thing. I'm like, they're going to fuck us.
Yeah.
Somehow, some way, they're going to fuck us.
Yeah, it's totally.
Series versus San Diego and Arizona, and then lose to the White Sox somehow.
Yeah. By the way, let's just circle back one last time. I promise this will be I think we should say this will be the last time we will ever have this debate because it is so put to bed, so fucking over. The Lindorks, you have lost. You lose. Good day, sir. The revolution is over. The Lindorks lost. It's just like, it's the only thing in all of sports, maybe minus like people who say LeBron James isn't good. Other than that, it's like there's nobody else who's just fucking fantastic at the sport they play and people just refuse to say he's good, whether it's because of his contract, whether it's because of his batting average. I don't know. But he is like, now he is statistically, intangibly, leadership-wise, defensive-wise, offensive-wise, every which way you can cut it. He's one of the best players in baseball. It's over. You know, there was some debate to be had in the first season, and then even into the second season, you know, it was like, And then since then, it's been over, and this season is the official 10th nail in the coffin. It's fucking over. He's one of the most valuable players in the league. If it wasn't for the absolute freak shows, a couple freaks that are in baseball right now, he'd probably be the best shortstop in the game. So it's over. And anybody, if you're still trying to push that narrative, like nobody in the world on social media or in person or on the radio or on TV should engage with you anymore. Because at that point, like, you know, if someone is still trying to tell you Lindor is not good, you know that they're just biased and they can't be trusted about anything, because it's like telling me the sky isn't blue. It's just right in front of your fucking face. He's leading the NL in WAR. He plays every single game. He's clutch. He beats the Yankees. Like, he does, like we said, he does everything that the fans should love. And for some reason, there's still like half the fan base hates him. It'll just always be that way forever. But just know you're fucking wrong. And that debate, that argument is now over forever.
Yeah, even after that god-awful start this year where we're just like, oh, this is going to be a problem. We're going to have to hear. And listen, I'm done engaging. The social media, like, I've pulled back on it, pumped the brakes. It's the best thing you could ever do. I suggest everyone do it. Everyone here except for Phil might do it. Phil it's basically in the matrix for the rest of his life at this point. That's how his bread is buttered as well, which is fine. But just like take a break. I had Lindor's coming at me in April this year. So it's like there's a few of them. They're cockroaches. Don't engage with them. I just mute them. You go about your day. And then when Francisco Lindor is literally the best player in the National League, you get to just stunk on them every single day, and they have to just sit there in their little stew of misery in the corner. So don't worry about them. It's crazy. I wore my Francisco Lindor shirt, his good shirt, to the game yesterday, and a guy gets in the yellow and goes, "Oh, it's a good shirt. I like that." I go, "Believe it or not, man, I still have to convince some people of this." He's like, "Yeah, those people are the fucking worst."
The fucking worst. And I just, it's forever going to be like, I tweeted like years, like when he first came up on the Indians, I remember a tweet saying like, I would do anything for a guy like Francisco Lindor. Like, I know at that point, like Corey Seager and like a couple other guys were like the top shortstops. And I remember being like, I know all that, but man, I would love Lindor. And then we got him. And then people tried to tell me he was not. Like, there is a world where people tell me that Francisco Lindor is not good at playing baseball. I'll never trust anybody ever again. I'm like a girl who's had her heart broken. Like, I can never trust any sports fans again, because people who tell me that they know a lot about sports and that they watch baseball and all that shit told me that Francisco Lindor is not good. So, I mean,
the same way MLB always runs that ad at the end of every game of like express written consent. You can't distribute. They just, from March until May, it just needs to be a disclaimer. Like, we know Lindor sucks in the beginning of the season. Just give it some time, and he will inevitably be a top 2 shortstop in the game by the end of the year, probably number 1. Like,
I don't know
if they're there to back it up.
Maybe like the WBC is something maybe we need him to play meaningful games somehow in like the winter and spring. Hit the ground running. I don't know what we got to do to it's the only thing left to like iron it out. And because if he had a good 2 months of the season, he would be, I mean, you know, he'd be the fucking best player in the game.
It's literally Beltran. Look, this was the same conversations we had about Beltran. He starts slow. He hits so much better from one side of the plate. No one talks about his defense. We're gonna miss him when he's gone. I'm living the same fucking movie all over again. So I said this in the beginning of the season. Lindorks are mayflies. They come out in the spring. You're like, oh, these fucking things, I hate them. And then come June, July, August, you forget they even exist because they're all dead. And then they're going to come back next May if he struggles, which he probably fucking will, let's be honest. But I'd rather him struggle in April and May than September and October. So that's the end of the Lindorks.
I don't think it can be overlooked, though, either, that like they jump-started him by putting him in the leadoff spot.
Yes. That was
huge to be able to finally do that, because they had put him second and third like the entire time he's been with the team. It's like, well, this isn't working because Nimmo's batting third. It's also not working for him. So it's like, I need to figure out where to put these guys in the lineup. It's almost like you need to go. It's almost like you need to go get a guy who you could put there, who's going to mash. I don't know if there's a free agent available who maybe it doesn't matter where he bats. He's just going to be a generational talent. Maybe you should just go get that guy and let those two. Imagine if those two were 1-2.
I don't know. It's just something to think about for the Mets. I don't know if there's anybody out there.
If that guy was young too, like a young and lefty, I think having a guy from the left side of the plate would be good.
Young, but somehow still a veteran because he's been playing since he was like 19.
And he's done it in the National League, done it in the World Series. Anything like that, already kind of has the lay of the land in New York would be nice too. So you get over those growing pains.
Interesting.
So, interesting. We'll put a pin in that one.
I will say it is very funny. Baseball is so fucking stupid. I will say this about baseball. I've mentioned this before that when doing this, like when you're a Mets fan and you're just a regular fan and the team loses, like you don't have like this outlet and you just have to sit in and just like sit in your own stink and it sucks. But also for us, like it kind of double sucks for us in a way because it's like, oh my God, we have to do the podcast and this and it fucking sucks that we have to like suffer through it, it's just so like life is just so much fucking easier when the Mets win in so many ways for all of us. Like this podcast would have been absolutely goddamn miserable had it come right after the Oakland series. And instead it's right after Orioles. And it's just like, it completely changes the complexion of your life. But I will say that like, there was a time not too long ago where I was like, we're the best team in New York and the Yankees are trash and everything's going downhill for them. And then it's just like, yeah, they have like 7 wins and we're still like scrapping. And it's just, baseball is just so long that even when it's like, oh, things shifted, it's like, well, it's going to shift back and then probably back again and then probably back again. Because that's how much fucking sports there is left in the season. It's the dumbest sport in the world. It needs to be shortened by like 3 months. But hey, I know. You got to just keep your head down and keep going, man. I did maybe my favorite thing I've done so far as a father, as a Mets fan. I was out yesterday with my kids. We went to, by the way, if you're from the New York area, there was a place called Sport Time USA in the 90s and maybe early 2000s. It was the greatest place on earth. It
Westchester?
was like,
Elmsford? Is that
yes, Elmsford. Yes, exactly. And that was a little bit of a hike for us to come up from the Bronx, but it was like we're going upstate. And it was like, at least my memory was like full court basketball, full fucking track for bumper cars, all the arcades you could play, batting cages, like this unbelievable indoor like heaven. And I needed to do something with my kids. I tried to go to Rye Playland, Clem. The line was 2.5 hours to get in. I was like, what the fuck is going on here? So I take them to Sport Time USA. It was like the crackhead version of Sport Time USA. I mean, it was absolute garbage. Anybody who grew up playing there, do not go if you have kids. It is, I mean, actually, I shouldn't say that because my kids, they're still young enough that they don't even know like good versus bad. They were like, this is the best day of my life. And I was like, wash your fucking hands, please. Anyway, so I was out for the day game and I've been watching, I would say probably the last like 5 or 6 really good Mets wins I've watched with Shay. And so I've been saying to her that she's a good luck charm. She saw the walk-offs. She's been a part of all like the big blowouts, hitting home runs. She saw the JD Martinez Grand Slam. I think it started with the JD Martinez Grand Slam game. Since then, she's seen every good win. So we come home, the game's over, and I know about the Winker walk-off. So I tell him, I'm like, we're going to have some early dinner. You're gonna get in the shower and then we'll watch the last little bit of the Mets game. I think we can catch the 9th inning. And so I rewind it and I put the 9th inning on and he hits the walk-off. And I was like, you really are the good luck charm. And she has fully believes this now, hook, line, and sinker, that she is a real good luck charm for the Mets. She's like, what about tomorrow? It's like a night game. I won't be able to stay up. What do I do? I'm like, it'll be okay. So but replaying a walk-off home run for your kid is an all-time dad hack. That was a great, great moment. I loved it. I was like, I want to like do that. I was like, oh shit, we missed like a walk-off. But I was like, I'll miss every walk-off if I can play that trick on them every time. Yeah. I wish I knew you were at the game, Clem. I would have been a great, imagine House Clem and House Clancy unite at a Winker pinch hit walk-off home run moment? Oh, my God.
Well, we went for Father's Day last year, and they got their fucking tits blown off.
Ugh.
Come back and then go behind. They got the real Mets experience that day. My kids got
Really
the fairy tale experience yesterday. AJ was in the bathroom for the walk-off home run.
Ah.
He was losing his mind the last 2 innings, and my wife's like, "I'll just take him." I'm like, "All right." But Sienna got, to experience all the craziness of Jesse Winker. So it was done well. And again, that hack, like, we have a West Coast trip coming up. God willing, we have like a great big hit in like the 9th, 10th inning or something like that. Wake the kids up in the morning, scroll right to the right part of YouTube, and boom.
Yeah, there you go.
Just dopamine right in that. That's the best way to follow baseball. Let's be honest. Not the dumb way we do, where we watch every pitch and live and die with every single inning. It's just like, give me the fucking highlights. Just give me the
I don't even – I wish – I'm going to create a service for Mets fans that's just when we win, you get all the details. And when we lose, you just feed me a version that's just like, yeah, it was back and forth for a little bit, and then they won, like, you lost the game 6-3. Don't tell me about how they blew it in the 9th. Don't tell me about how they imploded and gave up a 4-run inning. Just tell me, like, the final score and, like, yeah, it was a little back and forth. It would be so much healthier for me to fucking live that way.
Beautiful thing. So, still got baseball season. However, the baseball season is getting a little cold outside, as you guys can tell. It was a beautiful day. I mean, it was perfect.
Started out the day 59 degrees with a 5-handle. Beautiful.
It's a beautiful thing. So, been hungry for some college football? Well, we finally get a taste of it this weekend. Don't miss any of the action. Jump in at DraftKings Sportsbook. Football weather is here, and so is football along with it. It's a small but mighty slate of games for week 0, including a big matchup in Ireland. So, it's super easy for first-timers to get started. Try betting on something simple like picking a team to win. Go to the DraftKings Sportsbook app, select your team, and place your first bet. This is going to be DraftKings' biggest college football season to date. Enjoy the ride. Now all the way through the expanded playoffs. And for all the newbies getting into the college spirit, here's something extra special. New DraftKings customers bet $5, you get $200 in bonus bets instantly. So score big with DraftKings all college football season long. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app now and use code BELIEVE. That's code BELIEVE for new customers to get $200 in bonus bets when you bet just $5 only on DraftKings. The crown is yours. I got to ask my guy Brandon Walker for his. I ask him one pick every year, the best over wins for a college football team, because I'm a New Yorker. A lot of us here, we don't really have teams that we love in terms of college football, and he always gives me a pick, and that's the team I root for this season. I'm a Syracuse fan, but Syracuse had some lean years. So Brandon Walker's 2-0 his last 2, so I'm going to ride with him on DraftKings this year. So it's football season, and God knows it's our bread and butter here at Barstool. We mentioned this last series and kind of how the Mets, the social team, the entertainment, everything's just so much better. And that even goes to just the presentation in SNY. I noticed this as I was doing, rewatched the walk-off with AJ yesterday. They showed how they do the apple. Like this guy, like it says home run apple, and the guy like twists the button. Like there's a little thing you have to pull it up to then press the button, which I love.
But is totally like unnecessary. I mean, I guess maybe they probably imagine one day there was a dude who accidentally hit the fucking button, and they're like, we need to put a shield over it. But the fact that it's like a nuclear warhead is unbelievable. Like we both turn your keys and smash the button. It's fucking great.
And the OMG, did you see it had like it has OMG like in like Kyle's shirt? It says OMG, and then the guy just turns the level up after the walk-off. So I like how we're really doing like emphasizing the fun parts of the game, and kind of something that they've had for a little while that made a comeback today was or this year was the Kidcaster. So what was that? Was that Wednesday night? Or no, Tuesday night, Kyle?
Yeah, because they won.
Yeah.
I think it was the night that they won.
We had a Kidcaster, and these Kidcasters are fucking like their batting average is like 1,000 in my mind. There's no one who just is like
sandwich. I mean, like that drop on WFAN is legendary. I saw some people complaining about the Kidcaster, and it's like without that kid, we wouldn't have sandwich on the morning show. I mean that I get, there was a time in my life where I probably do have a tweet like fuck the Kidcasters. There's probably a time in my life as a young man where I was like, this is fucking stupid. And then you get a little bit older and it's like, hey dude, it's like a kid's dream coming true. So why don't you just shut the fuck up? And they do a pretty good job. I mean, it's weird a little bit, but like it's not like they know how to call the game, which is I think the weirdest thing in the world. My buddy has a kid who's probably, I think he's a little bit older than Shay. He's probably like 8 or 9. Like can memorize every statistic in the world and can like basically, I told him, I was like, you should start having him do this shit. He could be the kid caster. He could be like the next, WFAN guy. If you're like an 8 or 9-year-old kid, 10-year-old kid, whatever these kids are, and you can call a ball game, like you're a freak and you will become a broadcaster when you're an adult. Like it's just not a thing that like other kids do. So if you can do it at all, you're going to be a professional.
If Clemmer had a kid, he would already be like on pace. He'd have a scholarship to
if Clemmer wasn't a freakish ghoul, he probably would be a broadcaster himself. It's just that they're like, we can't put this guy in entertainment. Look at him.
And my favorite part about it is, and I'm going to date myself with this reference, but it's almost like when I did, Kevin might have, Kyle maybe, definitely not Phil. Grew up watching Star Search. Do you remember that? Ed McMahon. Mm-hmm. And they have like the singer, and then like Britney Spears would be one of the singers, and they try out. And they're like, holy shit, that ended up becoming Britney Spears, like the pop megastar. And if any of these kids actually go on to call, for a team, let alone the Mets, it would be like, holy shit, I saw this kid when he was like 8 years old. And,
I don't see grade. A world like, unless like that kid has to keep up with it. Obviously you go to Fordham or go to Syracuse or something like that. But if those kids come back around and are proficient at calling a game, and they're like, I was the kid caster, I don't see how like SNY wouldn't be like, here you go. It's such a good story. It's like, as long as you have a good as long as you're talented enough to be like, our our broadcaster was calling the Mets when he was 8, 9, 10 years old, we would fucking love that. That would be an unbelievable story,
Yep.
Eddie Krause. I just looked it up. The kid from 2022, like this one was good. Don't get me wrong. The kid from 2022 had like the sports jacket and the tie and was like pulling out stats from like 3 years prior. I'm like, holy shit. They have a broadcaster camp for kids now.
Yeah.
They have podcasting camps. Like there's weird stuff out there because they all want to be like YouTube stars and everything like that. Like it's no longer, I want to be the professional athlete on the field. It's like, well, the odds of me doing that aren't so high, but I can go talk about them
honestly
and be fine.
That's sort of what happened with me. Like not in a very direct way like that, but I remember being like, I want to be a Sports Center anchor. And because I was like, you're not going to play professional, right, but you can talk about it. And now, honestly, that's becoming as, it's like, kid, you ain't going to be Stephen A. Smith either. Like, you're probably not going to make it to that level either. But, it's a little more reasonable that it could potentially happen.
Like the earlier you realize it, or you put your kid in some like random Olympic sport and it's like, go get a scholarship because nobody plays this. We're going to have you play the harp. And you're going to go to some D1 school. Like, literally, that's what people do now.
Was that kid you're talking about the one who did the sandwich thing? I feel like that was even older.
Do
you remember that? He said, like, a pitcher throwing, like, the sequence of pitches is like a sandwich. And you throw a fastball in the beginning, and that's the bun. And it was like, and then Carton fucking loved it. Sandwich.
Yeah.
Let me see if I can find it.
I love all that. Actually, you know what? I don't know if you guys saw this, and as much as I hate giving that team in the South shine, someone said, like, this is the way baseball announcing should be done, and I have to admit, did you guys see the Big Boy clip when he was doing the Braves game?
No.
I'll just share it real quick here.
There it is. You got him.
Oh.
What I tell you? Go on, sit down somewhere. Go on, sit down somewhere. I tell you, man, if y'all need me again, I'm going to be down in the box. Get some cheese pieces.
I hate that it's the Braves, but that is fucking great, man.
I mean, we have to have like cool, like, is Nas a Mets fan? We have to have cool like rappers or like.
Nas is a Mets fan.
We have a lot, like when Seinfeld comes in the booth, it's fun. We have tons of comedians because again, you have to be a special breed to like be a Mets fan. But Big Boy's also cool as shit too. I don't know if Nas, he's a little more serious of a guy, but like. I
think Action Bronson's a Mets fan. That would be a good one. He'd have some
they have Brockmeyer. He's a Mets fan. Sure, they've had him in the booth, but they don't have him as the character. It's like, just put him in there as the character.
That would be, if they did like an X-rated off on the internet, you could do Brockmeyer doing the Mets for real. This fucking team, like, it would be so good if he did that. My dad, oddly enough, we're talking about all this. My parents just moved and they found a fucking cassette tape of me when I was at Fordham. I think I haven't listened to it yet because I have to figure out a fucking way to listen to a cassette tape. I think it's going to be me and my buddy Will doing play-by-play for the Brooklyn Cyclones. So I'm excited to try to find that and try to like transfer it over to an MP3 or something like that so I can put it on the internet, see how bad I was at doing play-by-play. Fucking set though. I showed it to Shay and I was like, "What is this?" And she was like, "I have no fucking idea." She goes, "Is it a CD?" And I go, "Nope, close." She goes, "Is it a DVP?" It's like, "That's not a thing either." I was like, "You're just saying letters now. You're close though."
They say like one easy way to tell like generations apart is be like, show me like you're taking a picture of yourself, and we'll do like the camera, and they do like a phone. They just use the phone.
Or this too. When you do show me, like pretend you're on the phone, we go like this, and they go like,
out.
That's fucking
just go
crazy.
Yeah,
That's crazy. I mean, it makes perfect sense, but that's crazy.
Yep. I just found a Power Hour mix from when I made in college in 2004. And it was like, where the fuck do I get a CD player to listen to this? I had my PlayStation, but then I had to go give it to my brother. He like ripped it, put it on a mix, and now I have it on the internet forever. But if like with a cassette, like what do you do with a cassette player?
I'm probably gonna have to find like a converter or something that like I don't even know. I'll just have to buy a Walkman, but I don't think there's anything that like converts it to. That would be insane. Who the fuck in this world is converting anything from cassette tape? Phil, did you ever have a cassette tape?
I did not. I know what cassettes are, but I did not.
Like I remember I bought Dookie Green Day on tape for like the car because I had like an old Nissan that had the fucking tape deck. So I actually used tapes, which
I
makes
had a DJ hand out Backstreet Boy cassette before they were even anything. They must have just like sent boxes out to all the DJs and like, oh, this is the new band, and it was like that was the
no way
not buying one, but yeah,
that's a relic. That's awesome. That's fire, dude.
You still had it.
Yeah,
I had like VHS tapes, but when I had a DVD player in my bedroom, I felt like I was a king. Like that was like a cool thing. Yeah.
And then what happened? There was laser discs for a minute. Those gigantic fucking what was that? I remember I guess it was my uncle. Someone in my family had a laser disc player. And I was like, "You're the richest man in the world. You are the richest man alive." And then like nobody else ever had a laser disc. I never saw that ever again.
It was one of those things that just never. I think it was supposed to be like clearer and better. You know, they give you the same better sound, whatever. And it's funny. I'm rewatching The Sopranos, and like they're going like it's laser disc tone. It's supposedly supposed to be very good, and I'll give you a surround sound, and it's just funny.
And then there was Blu-ray and HD DVD, right? Those were like competing.
And then they had ultraviolet.
Yeah.
By that point, it was like we're done.
Yeah, we're just making shit up now. Yeah.
And then everyone, Apple had the iPad and everything. So everything cannot be on like a physical media, and it just hand waved them to fucking the grave.
My dad bought a used car that was souped up before he bought it that had the VCR underneath the seat, and we had one VHS left. So it was the fold down. We had one VHS that I ran into the ground, and it was Happy Gilmore. So anytime we went anywhere, that's what it was. It was on every single time. In the roof. So like it would just fold down. It was like, you know, like the Michael Scott, like, oh, hold on, and he pulls it away from the wall. Like it was that small.
I also had the tape with the wire that connects to your Discman. So you put the tape in your car, but you could play CDs. That was the shit too, because it was like now I could play CDs in my car, and I felt cool.
Yeah, and if you had a fucking changer, a disc changer, it was like you're the coolest kid, a drug dealer, or both. Like those are basically the three levels in my mind.
Changer in the back, yes.
I had a legitimate system. I think I had a Pioneer, which was like, I felt like the fucking shit back in the day. Also, going back to Mets baseball for a minute here, I had a shot. I forgot to do this last episode, and there's been no reason not to do it since. I wanted to originally shout out David Peterson for being just fucking good out of nowhere.
Yeah, unsung hero for sure.
I mean,
my mom said that to me the other day. She goes, "Is he just good?" I was like, "I guess so. I don't know."
It's like is he like the It's not the canary in the coal mine, but it's like how David Peterson goes the Mets season.
As Peterson goes, the Mets goes. Yep.
22. Yep. He's good. We're good. Last year, terrible. We're terrible. This year, good again. His whip is 1.36, which is concerning, but a 3 ERA just like looks nice. Obviously, Manaea yesterday just fucking had a perfect game until the 6th. And if he doesn't hit Holiday there, I don't know what happens because the umpire, let's be honest, was all over the place for both sides.
Yeah.
So I didn't see that on the strike him out, throw him out steal that got overturned. I was at the game and I was like, oh, and then I saw it was like the perfect pitch. The fact they did not call that a strike is bananas. So Manaea, shout out to him. And then Severino, that fucking game that we went to on Saturday, and we got to see Luis Severino, which shout out to Citi Field faithful, acting like that was a playoff game and going fucking apeshit for a guy actually finishing out a game he starts and throws a shutout as well. I was basically moving around. Papa Clem came to the game, which was an amazing surprise. And he was so scared of the raindrops in the sky. He's fucking talking about pressure systems. So we're moving all over the stadium, trying to stay covered. Obviously, we couldn't sit in the seats. And I'm just like, holy shit, just a complete game.
Dude, you very well might not ever see a complete game shutout ever again.
Yeah.
That might be the last time. Certainly not. I don't think you'll see it live like ever again. That is going to be so fucking rare from here on out. The fact that he did that is bananas, dude.
And every fan stayed like through the rain. They were just standing under the overhang and everything. Like, and for Mendoza to have like the faith in him after he hits the guy, letting him go back out in the ninth and being like, "You're fine, just go out and do what you've been doing." Like,
well, they said he's known him since he's like 16, right? Yeah. So there is something cool going on there. That's like that version of Mets fans. They're the best.
Mm-hmm.
Live Mets fans are the best fucking fans in the game. They dress up. They go wild. Citi Field's a real fucking it's an actual home field advantage if you're there. It's just the off the field in the internet. Like that version completely outweighs the good one, you know? It's
Some
terrible.
would say there's one person that goes to some games who's not the best.
Yeah.
But we won't talk about it. We've already brought him up on the podcast enough times. I don't know if we ever got your take on that with the jersey. Did you have any thoughts on the jersey?
I mean, he's done a million things that is like totally fraudulent. What's the latest?
The Rockies jersey, when he wore the Rockies jersey.
No, I mean, that's insane. He wore a Rockies jersey when they were playing the Mets, right? Yeah. I mean, that's the most fraudulent thing I've ever seen in my life. Along with the Paul Sewald stuff and the Don Mattingly walk and like all these things that is like, get the fuck out of here. Frank just does whatever's best for Frank, and that's fine. But
since the Rockies, he just threw out the first pitch for the Giants, head to toe Mets gear. Like, there's no way he's ever going to be caught in someone else's uniform at this point.
He's feeling that one. He's feeling that one for sure. That's an insane thing to do. Like if I don't care if you're a guest in someone's house, if the Rockies said to me, "Hey, you want to throw out the first pitch?" First of all, if it turned out to be the Mets game, I think I would just say no. I'd just be like, this is weird that I'm like your guest with my team. But let's say I had to do it, I would never in a million years put on another team's. Like I would put on
delayed a movie for a month.
Not when they're playing the Mets.
Yeah. Ben Affleck delayed a movie for a month because they want him to wear a Yankees hat, and he's like, absolutely not.
Right.
And when he got him a black Mets hat, he's like, all right, fine.
Yeah, I mean that sort of shit is just like, no, you can't do that. You get caught wearing that, it's a picture forever, and it's like, you're a fraud forever. I would never do that.
The Colorado Rockies, the whole team's telling them like, you have purple in your logo, and you're like you're forever an expansion franchise. Go fuck yourself. Yeah, Colorado
Rockies don't tell you what. If the Dodgers tell you got to wear Dodger blue, like I don't know, maybe, but like you don't do it against your own team. Get the fuck out of here.
I thought that was crazy, but I had to get your thoughts. We brought him up the last couple of weeks because came up with Clemmer, and the chat had a question, but we hadn't had your take here. So again, the fans are the fucking best, except for the ones who are the worst. That's kind of how it goes. Which I do think is the very, very vocal minority. And then, as our hearts blacken.
Yes. But the vocal minority, unfortunately, in this era, in all things, politics, sports, whatever, the vocal minority is like what's heard the most. And it would be nice if we could just fucking iron out that part. We'd have like one of the best fan bases in all of sports. Yep. It would be awesome. It's like in our hands as fans because the team is so like, think about this. The team is so bad and so heartbreaking that other fans should love us. We should be lovable losers. And we're such fucking assholes that we're hated. Nobody hates the fans of the bad teams. Everybody's like, oh yeah, it's like good for them. They won. They finally won one. They deserved it. Mets fans, everyone's like, fuck you, because we're such assholes. And if we just stop doing that, we'd be one of like the best fan bases in all of sports, and we just can't.
It's crazy. It's like once there's like a hint that says like, oh, I don't want to hear Mets fans celebrate anymore. I'm going to root against them. It's like, what the fuck did we do? But again, there could be some people in the fan bases that like do piss off people. I understand that, but it's like you said,
one of them,
the Cubs. The Cubs, it's like everyone always is rooting for the Cubs. When they play the Indians, it was like, man, at least one of these fan bases gets to break the curse. And it's the Mets. It's like, all right, yeah, go Mets. And then it's like, I've had enough of these guys. Fuck
people,
them.
They'll root for like the Cardinals. They'll root for the Cardinals over the Mets. It's like, what the fuck is that about? Fuck
Just
you
get
guys.
punchline to death. LOL Mets. Even like you said, our boy RDT. Meet the Mets. It's like, all right, go out, beat you, whatever. So, I still consider the Orioles friends. But not RDT. We'll see. We'll see how that goes because he likes to
Pretty
take
much
pot
anybody
shots
in
at
the
us
AL
whenever
East.
things go
Anybody
bad.
in the AL East will always be a friend to me.
Yes, except
Yeah.
for the bad team of the AL East,
Right.
obviously. All right, so heading out to the NL West now. So I wanted to get your guys' thoughts on this. So 4 in San Diego, 3 in Arizona. Obviously, two of the teams we're looking up at in the wild card standings. And as Tim Healy wrote, started this homestand half game back, ended 1.5 games back. So could definitely be better, could definitely be worse as well. 7 against those 4 teams. And by the way, 5 of the 7 are night games, 9:40. So or 8:40. So basically, we're gonna have some dragon mornings and stuff like that. What is the worst record you would take from those 7 games? Because I'm not even gonna think about the White Sox series. Like the White Sox series almost has to be a sweep, and if it's not, it's because we did so good in the other 2 games. The other 2
Guys,
series. Like,
you guys do this every time. You guys do this every time. Every time. You did it with the Pirates and the Nationals. We do this. You guys do it every time. We're probably losing 2 out of 3 against the White Sox.
Mhm.
Okay? Brace yourself. It's happening. You guys do it every time.
Actually, so the White Sox series is after the next spot. So we'll deal with that when we have to. These 7 games, next 7 days, which, by the way, is a bunch of malarkey that team had to play a game, go on a cross-country flight, and it has a game tonight. It's a bunch of malarkey, and I don't appreciate it, Major League Baseball. What is the worst you could live with here? Because let's be honest, there's 2 things at play. One, there's 3 wild cards, and these 2 teams are enough ahead of us that we can make up ground. But if we don't, they're probably going to get those 2 wild card spots regardless. The other is the Braves. The last team in the world I want to be chasing for a wild card spot is the Braves because, like Phil says, that fucking series in Atlanta in September is where it's going to all come down to. There's also a chance that the division could be on the line because the Phillies, if we play them so many times, and if they slip up, oh Jesus, goddamn black cat!
I just was gonna say, as you're laying this all out, a black cat walks past him. I'm like, you gotta be kidding me.
Why the fuck do you have a black cat, man? You're a walking human mush. Are you trying to double reverse? You trying to what is it called?
I tried to move. I was like, oh no, a black cat.
Did the black cat appear when I said Braves in September? Like, what happened there?
Like, we got 7 games, West Coast trip. Here comes the cat, slowly walking across the back. I'm like, you gotta be
reacted
shitting
first. I was
me.
like, this is straight out of this. I mean, no, but the black cat's good for us, right? In Nets history, it's a good thing.
Shut the fuck up, Kevin.
Dying. That was so
That is
funny.
the Cubs batter on deck and the cat running across him.
Oh my god, that's fucking hysterical. I kept
serious?
talking. I was like, I'm just gonna pretend this isn't happening.
All right. Anything less than a fucking 7-game sweep, the Mets getting swept 7 games
that
is
was
a win
so
after
funny.
that.
That was so fucking funny.
What the fuck?
I mean this is make or break. Make or break. And I think I think you'd be crazy to like, well, if you go what are the standings again?
1.5 back. They're
1.5
4
back
and 4.5 in the 1 and 2 spot.
4.5.
The Padres
back,
and
yeah,
the
4.
D-backs, yeah.
So the Padres could put a fucking the Padres beat us up and they're putting some serious distance between us. This is
If
hilarious.
the cat licks itself behind you, being like, bro, you're about to enter a world of pain.
Images that precede disaster.
Yeah, for real. Oh, maybe good luck. Who knows? Oh,
It looks like it's sitting on your shoulder.
Goal right now.
Yeah.
Um,
What's the cat's name? Let's just get it all out in the open, Kev.
it's they're sisters. They're Sansa and Arya.
Ooh, okay, I can live with that. How long did
That's
you have
Arya.
it for?
A few months now. That's
Okay,
Arya.
so they were
she's
born.
a certified killer.
They were entered into the family during a magical season, so I can live with that. It's not like the Mets didn't get them last year during that fucking hell. Again, Mets, Black Cats have a history,
It's
good
a good
history
thing.
together. Oddly
Good
enough.
thing. It's a little bit of a reverse jinx action. We know we need that.
I also know who I will blame if it goes the other way. I will not be blaming the cat who's innocent in all this. It's you. It'll be you that I blame in all this. But I don't know, man. Fuck.
1 in 6. 1 in 6. I'll sign for. I mean, no, but so the Padres almost you have to play well against the Padres, right? I mean, you know what I mean. Like you can slip up against the Diamondbacks and you're still kind of within striking distance. if the
They're
Padres
tied, though.
beat,
They're both tied though. So we're playing one extra game against the Padres, but they're both 5.5 ahead of us.
oh, I didn't realize. I thought the Diamondbacks were like 2. Okay, yeah. So you have to beat. You have to play both these. You have to play well against both. It's got to be like 4 and 3, right?
And the Diamondbacks losing Marte is helpful because he was fucking like an MVP candidate for them. Braves lost Austin Riley. It does feel like everyone else is the Black Cats following them around right now, which is kind of nice. So I mean, I was gonna say I could live with 3 and 4 if you don't go pure Mets in the White Sox series. But if you're gonna go pure Mets in the White Sox series, I need 4 and 3.
Yeah. You have to sign for 3 and 4 just because it's a West Coast swing and it's on the road, and like you can't really just sign for a winning swing, but it's got to be at least 3 and 4. And
whatever the Mets.
If you don't, you know what I mean? Like that these are the moments where it's like, and if you don't do that, then you're not the real deal. Like it's kind of just prove yourself.
Whatever they do on these 7 games, we'll be sitting there going, it wasn't good enough. They need to win 1 or 2 more. That's just the reality of it. If they go 4 and 2, we're like, they should have went 5 and 3 or whatever it is.
Good math there, Phil.
Well,
Mets fan math.
The idea.
Mets fan math.
I think
5 and 3 is better than 4 and 2. I love it.
No, this season, the way that they've been playing against the subpar teams versus like playing over their heads, I think that there's an opportunity where like I'd rather them playing the teams that they have to beat in order to get in than to play the Phillies and all these other teams that are still on the schedule. Like I feel like they can get up for these games where they're going to be competitive the whole time.
I mean,
every time we think like this is going to be a hard series, they show up, and every time we think it's a cakewalk, they don't. So I do think that they're going to be like the juices will be flowing, playoff mode going. Like we'll have to wait and see.
I really do think having a guy like Winker is a good thing. You know what I mean? Like he's a guy, like we will not go into this series flat and be like, the beat writers are not going to be writing stories like it was eerily quiet heading into Arizona, blah, blah, blah. Like they're going to be fired up. And I think they got the right mix of guys for that. It's whether or not you perform well on the field. And then, so the Braves are 1.5, and then those 2 guys are plus 4. Okay. So they really have a chance to, like, those 2 teams have a chance to put it away as far as making, and then the Braves are really there for that 3rd spot.
I mean, if you just look at the numbers, and Phil, again, I know this might be tough for you, the numbers here. 72 and 56, the Diamondbacks and Padres are. We're 66 and 61. Those 2 teams are bad motherfuckers in terms of just like record, and obviously you can go on a losing streak, but there's 16 games above 500. That's
I know
that's 5 games above.
It's so weird how that works. Like 72 and 56 is a light years away from 66 and 61.
Yeah,
like it's so different when your wins and losses are two numbers away. That's crazy. Like. That is nuts. So I mean,
they've both been so hot though that you hope that like the downturn it can't.
I remember circling this on the calendar, being like, "This is going to be like we're going to be like tied with them by the time we see them." And they obviously opened it up a little bit. 7 and 3 in their last 10 for the Diamondbacks, 6 and 4 for the Padres. I mean the Mets. Sometimes the Mets schedule makers, I think, know something we don't. They always seem to have games against the exact teams that are ahead of them, or the exact teams that are hot or whatever, where it's just like, oh fuck, here we go. Oh my God, the White Sox are 31 and 97. Oh my God, we're gonna get swept by them. Fuck, we're gonna lose to a 31 win team. They are 40.5 back of the fucking wild card.
They're already eliminated in the playoffs. They got
they are
last week.
That's hilarious, dude. That's got to be that's on pace still for one of the worst ever, right?
That's worse than I just looked it up. They are 242 winning percentage. The 62 Mets was a 250 winning percentage.
Woo! We got ourselves a worst team ever.
What do you think? Do you want that? Because we asked this last week with Clemmer. Would you want them to erase the Mets from the record books, or do you kind of like having the quirkiness of the 62 Mets being like such a bumfuck franchise that they were the worst ever?
It's just such a part of my life. I don't want to have the worst team ever, but it's just like a trivia fact that I've always known. It's a fact about the franchise that we all understand. It's kind of our villain origin story. Maybe erasing it is what we need. Maybe that's the curse. So I'll say that because who knows? Maybe we need to get that offer back before we can ever win a World Series ever again.
They beat the Giants yesterday, and Frank tweeted out he's been to 2 games involving the White Sox, and the White Sox are 2-0.
Oh my
That
God.
is bad juju
That is
for us heading into
wild
playing
shit.
them.
I mean, well,
That's
then
insane.
he's not allowed to go to those fucking games.
Yeah.
Make sure he's not in
The White
Chicago.
Sox should throw out the first pitch if they were smart.
Yeah,
for
really.
real.
Yeah.
Pull out the red carpet, and that son of a bitch would go all 3 games.
Perpetual Frank, and he's just pitching every day like Pedro Feliciano back in the day, and just Frank throwing first pitches. I mean, the fact they've what is it? So they're 29-97 when Frank isn't in attendance, and they're 2-0. That's fucking crazy.
That's crazy.
That's
Like the numbers there. Having 2 of the White Sox 31 wins as a fan who doesn't live in Chicago is insane. All right, so I think final answer though, it has to be minimum 3 and 4. Like, I mean, and also let's put it this way: like we're talking about the good. Like, if you go like 1 and 6, like the season's over.
Yep.
Yeah.
Like you can just call it, right? Like you're done, dude. Like it's a wrap. So,
because the Giants are now 2 behind us. Braves are obviously 1.5 above us. And then Cardinals are 5. That feels like it's a little low, but it's like at some point you could be looking up at 2 teams for the last spot, and then you're just swimming. And you're facing.
and then what is it's a play-in and then a 3 game. What is it? How does it?
3-game wild card series.
3-game wild card. Yes.
everyone
Okay.
gets 3-game wild cards.
Right.
So and then you'd be looking up. And again, we were looking. There's 2 ways to look at all the Phillies games. It's a chance to maybe go for the NL East, or it's a chance you're playing one of the best teams in baseball a shitload of times in September. So it's 2 different ways to look at it. You're going to look at it whatever makes you feel better.
I
or worse
remember
at the time.
thinking, I mean, we're 8.5. We play them 6 more times? 7. I think it's 4 game and a 3 game.
Yep. 7.
Yeah. 7 times. Good, Phil. You got that one. I guess anything can happen, but I feel like that would, be an extreme situation. But there was a moment I remember being like, let's go after the Phillies. Let's fucking go. Yeah. Let's go. And I'm like, I don't think so.
When they were the best team in baseball, no team like right now is pacing to have 100 wins for the first time in like forever.
Yeah. Well, they were though for a while, right?
Yeah.
They were like,
yeah. They were at a place for like the most wins ever at one point, I think.
Yeah.
It was crazy.
Yeah, so they must have, so that means they must be playing, significantly less good, right? Like, I mean, if they were, I remember they were like 35 games above 500. It was crazy. Yeah. So, I mean, I guess anything can happen, but I think we have to, let's not worry about the Phillies just yet. Let's focus on the Diamondbacks. Let's focus on the Padres.
Most importantly, gotta believe.
Gotta believe.